Rapper Gunna's next shot in his fight to get out of jail ahead of a trial. He has a bond hearing later today.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Gunna. It seems like Gunna is back in court today, and he's trying to get bond, man. Now, they've been having a time at this, man. It looks like Gunna, Young Thug, they might have some light at the end of the tunnel because of some recent developments in the case, where the DA's office is pushing to have the case at a later date than, was presently scheduled. The case is supposed to be scheduled for January 2023, and now the DA's office wants to push it until March 2023. Now, Gunna has been in jail for about 7 months total, and this gives him the opportunity to maybe get some leeway, because when you look at Gunna's charges, it looks like they're just not as egregious as the charges, or even as extensive as the charges against Young Thug. So there might be a possibility that the judge might grant him bond, man. Now, this is going out on a limb. This isn't guaranteed. And based on the facts of the case and the way that Gunna has been painted as a potential gang leader, man, it's a long shot. But, man, it's worth a try. And at this point, it might be worth it, man. And they might get a surprise and Gunna might actually get bond. Now, before we get to the specifics and break down these news stories, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And, man, let's get it. Okay, so let's talk about Gunna. So there's a news story there from the local news in Atlanta, and they basically talk about the fact that Gunna is going to be in court today and trying to get this bond, man. So let's check that out real quick.
Rapper Gunna's next shot in his fight to get out of jail ahead of a trial. He has a bond hearing later today. The rapper, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, was one of dozens indicted on RICO charges earlier this year. He's been in the Fulton County Jail since his arrest in May. In a statement, his lawyer tells us it's time for that to end. They hope the court will agree to release Gunna on a reasonable bond.
Now, as you heard there, they're hoping, at least Gunna's legal team is hoping, that they can get him released on a reasonable bond. So something that won't break his pockets, but, that makes sense as far as him being free and be able to move about. Now, Gunna is missing out on a lot of opportunities while being locked up. Currently, he has one of the highest, if not the highest selling album right now as far as the hip hop genre is concerned. And dude is really doing big things, man, when he got locked up. Like, he was really pushing the culture with this whole Pushing P song and everything, that the energy that was behind it. So it's crazy, man, that Gunna is going through this at a time when he should be having the best time in his career. Now, at some points, it makes you feel like Gunna is getting a raw deal in this situation. He's missing out on a lot of money. And if he was really participating as a gang leader, it wasn't evident to his fans even, man. Now, in the case, there's some things I want to talk about. Now, Gunna's charges are not as extensive as Young Thug's. He officially only faces one count of conspiracy to violate RICO, essentially being a gang member. So he's basically being accused of being a gang member, and that's what puts him into RICO. Now, the sprawling 88-page indictment only mentions Gunna, legal name Sergio Kitchens, a few times, most of them using his social media posts or song lyrics as evidence of gang membership. So the case around him seems relatively weak from anybody on the outside. I mean, they're basically using social media posts and song lyrics to say, hey, you're a gang member as a part of a gang that's in this RICO case. You know what I mean? And we're going to hold you for this time in jail because of that. Now, they got some light at the end of the tunnel based on a recent development in the case where the DA's office is pushing to get more time. So let's check out a news story that talks about this recent development.
The trial for Atlanta rappers Young Thug and Gunna.
Both could be stuck in jail for a few more months, waiting for their day in court if Fulton County prosecutors get their way. News Edge reporter Tyler Fingert is at the live desk tonight to explain. So, Tyler, what's going on?
Well, Christine, Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis filed this 10-page motion this afternoon to delay the trial of Young Thug, Gunna, and 26 other defendants in a large RICO case. The delay request all has to do with the fact that more than a quarter of the suspects don't have attorneys yet. The writing on the wall was clear for Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis. In a motion filed Thursday, she asked for a delay in the racketeering case against Young Thug and Gunna. In the motion, Willis says 8 of the 28 defendants in the case still don't have attorneys, months after their indictments. She's asking that the trial, which is currently scheduled for January 9th, be delayed until March 27th to give the defendants time to get a lawyer. In the motion, she writes, a continuance to the final week in March would protect the speedy trial rights of those who have asserted those rights, while also ensuring that the additional 8 defendants have properly prepared appointed counsel. Young Thug and Gunna's real names are Jeffrey Williams and Sergio Kitchens. Both sit behind bars along with 23 other co-defendants waiting for trial. Prosecutors believe Williams and Kitchens led a street gang called Young Slime Life. The DA's office says the two, along with their associates, used violence, drugs, and even murder to make money. The Thursday motion also said the defendants should be tried together because they participated in the same conspiracy and similar evidence would be used in each trial. In the motion, prosecutors write that they are concerned about the inconvenience and trauma of repeated testimony of witnesses who were the victims of violent gang crimes. The judge will look at the motion later this month and make a decision. We should point out attorneys for the rappers have repeatedly denied the charges. At the live desk, Tyler Finger.
Okay, so in that news clip, you heard that the DA's office is basically trying to get more time. They want to push this to March, and they're saying their reason for that is the fact that there's 8 defendants in this case, co-defendants of Gunna and Young Thug, who haven't been assigned attorneys yet or haven't been able to get attorneys, which is kind of weird because in other cases like the Young Dolph case where you have Straight Drop and his co-defendant, you have the judge come out and make a strong stance and say, hey, you guys need to get attorneys quick. And if you don't get an attorney, you are getting a public defender. And I will assign you a public defender because we go into trial. And it seems like maybe the judge could do the same thing here. So that has a lot of people thinking this might be for other reasons as well, as opposed to just getting those 8 co-defendants of Young Thug and Gunna legal representation, man. A lot of people believe that this is signs that maybe the case could be weak. But we will see how this plays out because Gunna, he has an opportunity to try to get bond. Now, there's a lawyer that's very popular on social media and on YouTube or whatnot, and he went and he talked about this extensively, and let me go ahead and play you some of that video.
Attorneys for Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, have responded to the district attorney's motion seeking to delay the trial. They argue a couple things. First, the district attorney should be ready. The district attorney came out the gate with a big press conference saying we got this and we got that, and the district attorney had the benefit of a COVID delay. This trial would have been back in July. Instead, it was pushed to January due to COVID. At this point, the DA should be ready. If they're not ready, that's on them. That's the first argument. Second, I thought this was interesting. The attorney points out that the district attorney's paper again references that witnesses have been threatened. And Young Thug's lawyer says, hey, Your Honor, I want to be absolutely clear, and I've proven this to you before. They have not put up any evidence about my client, Jeffrey Williams, threatening any witnesses. And so when Young Thug's lawyer says that, that's a powerful statement. Ultimately, what Young Thug's lawyer argues is that, look, this is a new circumstance. This trial was supposed to happen in July. COVID, it got pushed to January. At this point, for the district attorney to still not be ready, for them to say that we need to push this back to March, well, that means that the game has changed and you got to go back and relook at the bond motion, all right? You got to give a guy a bond. He's innocent until proven guilty. He's literally spent and served 7 months in prison on the basis of just DA whispering stuff in your ear. That's not good enough at this point. If they're not ready to go to trial, you got to let my guy out on bond. I expect the judge to do it. Certainly seems like it makes sense to do it. We shall see.
Now, based on a lot of the things that he said in that video, it seems like the best case scenario for Young Thug and Gunna. And in light of the new developments, Gunna is having his bond hearing today. So we'll see if that changes the judge's mind, but the judge has been pretty staunch in the fact that he was not going to grant bond because there were a lot of accusations about witnesses being messed with or witnesses being, threatened or whatnot, but nobody has proven that Gunna or even Young Thug has done anything of that nature. Plus the fact that the court case was really supposed to take place around July. It got pushed out to January for obvious reasons, and now they want to push it until March, and these guys have been in jail already for 7 months and haven't even had everything in play so that way they could defend themselves. So it's one of those situations where it seems like maybe they could get bond because of this, you know what I mean? But we will see, man. But what y'all think in the comments? Tell me, y'all think this is just a normal situation in court that a lot of people have to go through? They move the date here, move it there, you're in jail for that much longer. But when you factor factor in the fact that these two are musical artists and are missing out on a lot of money and a lot of opportunities out there, how does this really balance out? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.